Hello, and welcome. Welcome on into the Swear Word. I'm your host, Brandon Swear, and hey, this is a podcast for the Chilihead community by the Chilihead community. Regardless of your spice tolerance, this is the place for you. Man, we have an amazing episode here tonight. 2 sauces on Hot or Not, an amazing guest, locked and loaded, and we had to bring back a very fun fan favorite game. So looking forward to diving into that. But episode 93 starts now. Welcome on in, Swear Nation. So glad to have everyone here, rocking and rolling, whether you're tuning in on YouTube, Spotify, Rumble, Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for being here and making the show what it is. Continue to share this out with other like-minded chili heads who, maybe even be just kind of getting curious about the world of spice and what it can offer, because this is the place where you can find everything to do with the world of hot. Up tonight, we have 2 sauces on deck for Hot or Not. These sauces have been featured before, but heard some pretty interesting news and wanted to give it a side-by-side comparison here. So we'll be diving into those, as well as we have Stephen Curgan, a.k.a. Fiery Red. We're going to talk about his recent win of the World Champion belt, and also talk some other chili head discussions. So get ready to have a fun time, learn about Stephen Curgan, a.k.a. Fiery Red, as well as, some more insights on the chili head life. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and jump on over to Hot or Not. All right. Hey, welcome on into Hot or Not. Tonight's episode of Hot or Not is going to be a slight bit different. So if this is your first time checking out the show, I do break things down a little bit different here. I don't do a 1 out of 10 scale. I do a 1 out of 5. That's based off of these 5 different categories. Those categories are heat, aroma, flavor, versatility, burn, and then I add those up, average them out, and that gives us our total swear word rating. Some other things I like to do is not read the ingredients ahead of time, because I really like to let my taste buds do the exploration and really be able to pinpoint what I'm finding there. So with that being said, this sauce here, as you may see now, is actually the same sauce, but what is going on is this one right here is from the prior run, and this is the 2025 edition. And the peppers in that, I have been told by Troy that those peppers just seem to be a little bit more angry, if you will. So we're going to be diving in, not really going through the full scorecard again, but just doing some scientific discovery. Is this one actually hotter than the last one? And letting you know what I find from the overall breakdown. How does this one compare to the prior years? How does 2025 ordinance really work out on this one? Is it actually spicier? Is it not? For everyone that's been watching the podcast, keeping up with how everything's going, you're very familiar and tuned in that, Swampadelic, Primo Army, Premonition are always a staple and in my house at all times. So super excited to know that one of the sauces that I love so much is potentially got, some spicier peppers that have just kind of, from this last grow season, kind of worked its way in here. So looking forward to seeing that heat. Let's do this. Let's got my tablespoon, and I'm going to grab the old bottle first. Fortunately, I had a bottle, like I said, on hand. So for all those that are keeping track, this does have a perforated tear on the cellophane, but you know me, I like to use my knife. So get that one popped, thrown to the side, and we're going to give this one a good shake. So same great ingredients the whole way through, because I am familiar with this sauce and it's been reviewed on here. I'll go ahead and read it off to you. It's going to be the same on this one as with the 2025 edition, if you will. It has 7-pot Primo mash. Then let's see here, water, apple cider vinegar, garlic powder, sugar, ají panca, chili powder, Cajun seasoning, and then it has salt, 7-pot Primo powder, and xanthan gum. So absolutely amazing. Love the breakdown on this sauce. This is a sauce that is going to be hot. Even if this one's hotter, the original was already very nice and arguably one of the hottest natural sauces out there. So, this is one that is geared towards those that are pushing and working on their own personal best. But, you're still able to utilize this if, say, your tolerance isn't quite as high. Just got to be resourceful on how you use it and how much of it you use. So keep that in mind. But here we go. Beautiful, nice, dark red, deep red color. Nice hearty tablespoon here. You got some bits in there, some that's just very smooth. Love the complexities. Love the overall sauce. I mean, amazing, savory. I'm just salivating from the aroma. I know what this sauce is. It is a spicy Cajun hot sauce. Easiest way to put it. Absolutely goes phenomenal on everything. I've even used this to make some spicy desserts, and I'll share more on that in a second. But cheers. Absolutely amazing. Comforting hug right there from a familiar friend. That's what that is to me. Absolutely magical. Great savory Cajun pop right off the bat. Then you're getting that beautiful taste of the 7-Pot Primo coming through, ramping up the heat, really latching on to the back of the mouth, the gums, the throat, absolutely just lashing on the throat. It grabs and it just ramps up. So phenomenal sauce here. Utilizing this one in, say, other sauces. So like maybe you want to make a spicy ranch dip. You want to make a spicy hummus. Using it mixed into, say, some cocktail sauce absolutely brings it to life. I love to use this whenever we have a crawfish boil. I'll crack and peel and dip on the sauce and just eat the tails. Absolutely phenomenal for that too. This goes great with just about everything. As I had mentioned before, I have used this, incorporated this into desserts using a muffin, a little paper. Can't think of the name of it right now, but that paper that goes around the muffin. I pour some melted chocolate into the bottom of that with a shot glass to kind of leave a depression, and then poured in a nice hearty tablespoon inside that dark chocolate. Let everything kind of cool, and then from there gave it a nice top coat and made my own spicy chocolate discs full of Swampadelic. So that is a one way that I have used it and love it, even in desserts. So there's that. Very hot. If you are not accustomed to it, once again, you're going to notice that this is way past your comfort zone if you're not using it in moderation and or using it sparingly and working your way up. But overall, phenomenal stuff. Let's get into the new bottle. Still perforation here. Go ahead and give it a cut though. And get that off to the side. Beautiful color. Still same great color, same great look, same great ingredients. But this one is just, mentioned to have much more angry batch of 7-Pot Primos. I can tell you right off the bat, the aroma is much more pepper forward. Absolutely. Still getting that great Cajun note on the nostrils, that savory notes as well, but the freshness, the brightness of these peppers, very prevalent in this aroma. So here we go. Cheers. Nice pour, nice consistency, same overall flow and consistency going on here. And yep, just very, very noticeable, very fresh, bright pepper pop on this. That Great Sun Pop Primo is just really carrying forward. As your tolerance builds, you'll start to pick this up, but it is a very fruity, great tasting pepper, but with tons of heat. So here we go. Cheers. Wow. I did want to swash that one around a bit more, get it incorporated. As I'm talking, you can hear it hitting the back of my throat. Pretty good on that one. Man, oh man, is that good. That has some nice heat. I can already feel a nice tear getting built up in my eye. We'll see if that one rolls down here in a second, but absolutely phenomenal. Hitting the back of the throat, really good. Opening up the sinuses, and really, as you can hear it, just lashing out on the throat. Digging in deep on the back of the throat and just ramping up. Same great phenomenal flavor. Absolutely a noticeable difference in as far as the heat goes on this. And the aroma is just slightly more pronounced on that pepper front. So 2025 Ordinance is no joke. Definitely, if you have tried Swampadelic before, you love it, go ahead and pick up a new bottle of the 2025 Ordinance. You won't be let down. It's got some amazing heat. And, like I said, it's one that will never leave my kitchen. So make sure y'all head on over there and pick that up. I'll have the direct links down below, as well as a link to the main site so you can check out the full sauce lineup and all the amazing products that Primo's Peppers has to offer. So let's go ahead and start tonight's episode. Hey, Steven, how's it going?
Hey, Brandon, it's going good. How are you, man?
Man, doing good. Glad to have you here. This has been something that's been on the list to get scheduled and have you on here for a while, but glad that it finally happened. Definitely on the heels of an amazing victory, and looking forward to diving into that as well.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate you having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, to say that you have come in to the community and just slowly meandered in through is an absolute understatement. You've came in like an absolute wrecking ball, just going from day one off Jump Street with I think the first video I saw of you was eating a tube of terror, and from there it's just continued to escalate from there. So how first and foremost, what got you into eating spicy food, and what was the moment that you were like, you know what, I think I'm going to push myself. I'm going to try to go to new limits.
Okay, so I started just really with hot sauce, right? I realized I like different hot sauces. I kind of probably about 9 years ago or so, I kind of discovered this whole craft hot sauce, and I wasn't familiar with it, right? This whole world of all these different like super hot sauces that are much different than grocery store bought sauces. And I was really intrigued, and I was like, you know what? Initially, I was kind of a cheapskate. I'm like, man, I could buy this, and it would last way longer because I only need like a couple drops. But then through that process, it became a game with myself because at first it was like, wow, some of these extract sauces and stuff I just kind of bought, and I was like, it's way too hot. But then it just got to where how I can handle a little bit more and a little bit more, and so I honestly just started building tolerance unintentionally by really just doing like challenges to myself at home with testing hot sauce. And then, yeah, from there, never really thought of anything in a competitive state other than like finding some of the gimmicky challenges at like a store or something. I've stumbled into those, and I'd always try those, and that was fun. Just because I got to where I like testing my ability to handle heat. But it really wasn't until in the group for the love of hot sauce kept talking about the show Superhot that finally I caved and watched the show. And that's where I discovered League of Fire and this whole competitive chili eating community. And I was just intrigued. And I'm like, I'm just curious how I would compare to some of these like real chili heads, right? And so, yeah, I basically I joined, and I dove in head first. I did not start with small challenges, kind of like what you're saying. I went for the more serious challenges, and I just started going after records pretty much off the bat. And that was just, again, my test to myself. It wasn't to be better than others, but it's like, well, if this is a record, can I beat it? Like, am I capable? And so that's kind of what led me to doing that.
Absolutely. And, wild to think, and congratulations as well. It feels like just the other day watching that very first video of you in your kitchen eating that tube of terror. And then now you're the world champ. How does that feel?
Man, it's surreal, honestly. It happened so quickly, and I mean, it's been over a year since I've joined League of Fire, but just over a year. And I mean, it's just amazing. It's just honestly hard to explain how I went from watching this show on TV to admiring, the UK Chili Queen Shahina and all these people, these characters on this show, to becoming friends with them. And it's just like normal, like me and you chit chat and stuff. It's just so surreal to just become part of this community and to be blessed with the opportunities and the doors that have opened that have led to opportunities for travel. And man, I've just loved it. So it's just amazing, honestly. And the the moment I showed an empty mouth at that world title match, and I just heard them announce me, it was like a euphoric moment that I really can't explain. It was just incredible, man. I was just so stoked. You probably saw me jumping around, rocking out to my Linkin Park song they were playing, but dude, I was just so stoked, and it was just amazing. So I'm
Yep.
I'm loving it.
Yep, absolutely. No, that was very cool to see. I didn't get to watch it live as it was happening. I was catching little bits here and there because I was out doing some family events that day, and I did get to catch that very end. So that was very cool to see and to watch and see history being made. I mean, now obviously the idea of the, I guess, League of Fire, really the belts, if you will, has been relatively new, but for you to come in and it to be about a year roughly time frame, that has to be uh, the fastest turnaround to not only just jump in, get started, but now hold a world belt, world record right there, belt. It's just it's remarkable, and to be able, as you were saying, to be able to go from something that you were watching, really kind of enamored with, and then now so immersed in it that you are it. It's that feeling on the stage. Yeah, I can definitely see the euphoria just building up, taking off, and just continuing to push you further. I mean, I can't wait to see how far you continue to take this thing. For everyone that's watching and listening, you've also battled Mike Jack, so you've had that, and that's a time where I felt like watching your journey, like on a playback, if you will, was a defining moment for you. From the way that you started to approach training. You were approaching training beforehand versus your training afterwards. It was so much more calculated, focused, and really just putting in that actual push that you knew that you were needing to do from that battle. So
Yeah.
how has that been for you? I mean, I know that you do prep. So what does that typical? Do you have kind of a defined regimen? Or are you still trying to work that out?
As far as prep goes, I do not have a defined regimen. I just kind of know the types of food I should eat. And as long as I get enough of that on my stomach, I've learned myself through practice that I'm good with that. As long as I've got enough, kind of carbs and stuff on my stomach prior to, I can hold up um, past a competition like the length. I should be good for, I would say, well over 2 hours. I haven't pressed it extremely long because basically when I do extreme amounts, I honestly just get it out afterwards because I don't want to deal with the cramps. But um, I don't have to rush. I can take my time in the restroom. Like I can jump around on stage and then go talk to people for 20 minutes, and I'm still good. to still take my time and get it out. A lot of people freak out when they start burning that hard, and they lose control of themselves by not having, like, you know, control their mind. Like, don't freak out. You're going to be okay. And yeah, it'll be all right. Just you get it out though.
Yeah, yeah. No, definitely. Very well said. It is so much, and a lot of people don't understand this. It's so much of a mental game, as is life, right? Life is a massive mental game. It's you really battling yourself in everything you do. Well, it's the same thing with peppers, with spicy food in general. You are your own worst enemy, and if you let yourself get in your head and start telling yourself lies, then
Yeah,
yeah, the panic kicks in and the struggle happens.
absolutely. That's one of the things I love about it. I mean, I like the heat. I enjoy spicy food, like genuinely over the top. No restaurant makes it hot enough, kind of thing. But um, I love the mental aspect. It's just really cool. I don't know. I'm a big fan of the Matrix and the idea of kind of like, you know, like surpassing the limits and the boundaries that we place on ourselves mentally. Like, I'm just all about that. So it's pretty cool.
Yep, yep. No, I definitely see that, and I can appreciate that. I love the Matrix. I think it's great, but being able to break out of that code per se and have yourself grow and be able to utilize and draw within, it really helps from a mental state. Be able to lock in. We're now while you were on the competition, I guess two parts. First and foremost. I think everyone's wanting to know how did the peppers in South Africa that were grown there compared to some of the stuff that you've had in the U.S. On par, hotter, less than? Where are we at?
So I would say, honestly, there's a range. And the reason I say this, and I told this to somebody else, I don't know if it's because I was sitting in my hotel when I practiced versus being on stage, having a little bit of an adrenaline rush, while that's going down. But I got some pods from some South Africans, Royce and Brett, mailed me. They lived several hours away. They mailed me some pods, which I was very grateful for. And I tried them out, and I'm like, holy crap! If they're gonna be this hot on stage, like, this might be a problem. Which I know in the heat of the moment, no pun intended. It's just like you push, like there is no giving up, and you just keep pushing. But they were really hot. Now I ate a lot of them. I didn't just eat one or two. I was, eating 20 plus in my hotel room, but they were really hot. Versus in the actual competition, they were different peppers, but I would say they weren't all the hottest, and they could have been hotter. I mean, they were hot, definitely. It was mainly all super hots, but honestly, the most difficult part of that competition for me was the volume. Just five peppers every round, and they were all large. Like, mostly all of them were very large, and it's just the sheer volume of chewing and chewing and chewing and trying to just keep a good pace without taking too long. It's just so much to just eat.
Yeah.
um it's just almost gross to eat that much anything, but
Hmm.
obviously they were very hot, but the volume is what really killed me. I would say the heat is definitely up there if you get your hands on the right peppers in South Africa.
Okay. All right. Good to know. I'm always curious how that whole thing pans out. Obviously you got different growing conditions. You got all these other factors that play in. So that's definitely one that popped up in my head. And then second of all, I know this was super crucial for me. I know that a few others also do this. But were you jamming out to your own personal music during the competition, or were you just listening to what was going on in the crowd?
Yeah, honestly, I don't do headphones. I go with the flow. I'm in South Africa going against an undefeated South African chili eater. Needless to say, the crowd wasn't pulling for me. I say that there were some pulling for me, and I definitely appreciate them. But the majority was obviously rooting on for Gary, as they should. Uh, and I had a couple trash talkers at the front row. I think they had one too many to drink, and they did not want to see Gary losing. So they were trying to talk me into quitting and throwing up pretty much the second half of the comp. And that's okay. It's all good. And like, I enjoy that. It's what makes it a competition. It makes it fun. But at the end of the day, I won, and I was walking around with the belt, and I had so many people appreciating what I did, even though I'm in their home turf. A lot of love. So South Africa's awesome, and they definitely showed me some love.
That's awesome to hear. And yeah, the heckling, if you will, the hearing the crowd really cheer. It's almost as if it's that same advantage that when you're in the playoffs and you're at the home team, opposing team's home team or home arena, and all of a sudden you hear that crowd going. You either have that, you fall into those two camps. You either let it eat you alive or you let it energize you. And it sounds like you
Yeah,
were letting it energize you, and that's awesome. I know that's what
yeah,
normally, if I hear that type of same rhetoric, I'm like, all right, this just gives me more reason to do what I'm supposed to be doing. So,
yeah. No, it was cool. It's almost like I'm not a huge wrestling guy, but doing the introduction when Shahina handed me the mic, I appreciated their country, and they're all clapping and cheering, for me showing them love. But then I was like, but I'm here to take that belt home. And like the whole crowd booed hardcore. And it kind of made me think of like a wrestling show or something. Like they were so passionate. Honestly, I loved it. Like the passion behind those fans and those people. Like we had a crowd. It was late. It was a long day at that festival, but so many people were so into this. It made it good.
yeah. No, I did laugh very hard whenever you said that line. It was priceless. It was very well. I mean, it was everything you said was super nice and very, the way that it should have been handled ultimately, right? But the response was the part that just had me laughing. Absolutely had
Yeah.
me laughing. But yeah, it was as you're saying, it was very, it was very true emotions, but it felt, just because of watching it, very dramatized in a sense of like the wrestling matches or
Yeah.
what have you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
It was good.
Well, now you've done quite a few different, challenges, multiples thereof, etc. One question that I'm sure is already being fired off, and it's always asked: what challenge has left the biggest mark in your mind or hurt you the most?
Oh, um, so when I first started, I keep in mind when I first started, I was 6 months into the League of Fire season. So half of the League of Fire year was already up. I jumped in, and within 2 months, I was number one. Now, that was unintentional. That was just me pushing myself. And I was like, oh, wow, I'm like really getting these points. But I was doing, uh, you know, records and multiples and big jumps. But I also did not know what I was doing. I did not know to purge, right? Like, and I'm just like, I'm not going to do that. Why would I do that? So I was really against it. So I would digest everything, including, extreme volume of extract challenges that I digested. And I definitely had multiple nights over 16 hours of extreme, very extreme cap cramps, to the point where it makes you question, like, what are you doing? um,
Yep.
but for some crazy reason, I would do it again, like almost the next day sometimes. Like a couple, actually, at one point, I think I have the record for the number of records back to back, like 5 days in a row or something, where I was just like, hey, here's an idea. Let's make a record of records. But yeah, so even some of those extreme pushes, but notably, I know one of them that really got me good was from no, it's not Old Agnes. Yeah, it is Old Agnes. Is it the crunchy one?
Okay. Yep.
It's basically a chocolate Rice Krispie with a lot of extracts. Um, I believe I might still have that record. Some of the records have been broken, but that one was intense. I remember it because I a lot of times I would do a challenge, never having tried it before. So I got that one because I heard it was the hardest one they had. So I bought it, and I bought enough to break the record. And then I busted open for the first time live on YouTube, and I'm like, here I go for the record attempt. And after the first one, I'm like, you know what? I don't see this happening tonight. It's way too high. Um, so I honestly didn't think I was going to make it, but I just kept going and kept going. And it was a really intense challenge. But then, yeah, the aftermath really killed me, for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let's I was pulling us up as you were talking for the League of Fire rankings to see if let's see if we can get this pulled up here. But ultimately the extract I'm always I've had my fair share with it, right? It's not the end of the world, but extract is definitely one thing that I will intentionally avoid if I can. I don't like the taste of it. I think the burn is nice because it's violent. It's very in your face. But I do not like the aftermath. I do not like the next day taste that it brings. So everyone that's like big into extracts, my hat's off to them because that is a true test to the stomach. I like to do fasting and then break the fast with spicy stuff. And like a lot of people think that's a bit intense, but wow. No, extract for me is something that's interesting. It's almost like you have to really establish like build up a taste, a love for it. Can't think of the correct word right now, but I mean, do you actually enjoy the taste of extract, like products in general, or is that just something that you use to push yourself?
I'll say they're not my favorite. Like, if I'm being honest, I like the hottest sauces I can find from hot sauce standpoint, which a lot of times is extract, and they definitely aren't as tasty as non-extract sauces. So I do it more for heat. Um, I will also say it definitely you cramp easier on that as well. Um, so overall, it's not like something I'm going out of my way to get, but I do try them, and I will keep getting them. Like, I have some extract sauces in the fridge right now, but day to day, I normally go for a non-extract sauce.
Yep. Okay. Okay. I completely agree. I think they taste better anyways. But yeah, heat. If you're looking for sure heat, it's a totally different game. Now, with getting introduced to, obviously you've got brought in, and your initial entry point. It sounds like you're still your love and your passion is behind sauce. Now I know that there's a handful of folks that just eating pods is not really what they enjoy, nor do they like it. They just do it simply because for the competitions and to push themselves. Uh, Now you've also dabbled in tincture. Is there an area that you prefer the burn less than say others?
I don't enjoy tincture. That's probably the one I enjoy the least. I mean, I don't know. It's really a lot up front, and then just the flavor's not great. I'll do tink, and
Mm-hmm.
as you see, I'm repping Cap Crew here, and I'm sure you may have seen my Goonies board that I did before I went to Africa. I did that one that Sarver and Marco made, which was really cool. And I told them I'm going to complete this in one go. I didn't know if I would or not, but that was a lot of tincture. So I can do it, but it's not my favorite. It's not my most enjoyable. I thoroughly enjoy the hot sauce. And then peppers are very intense. I love the burn. It's just so natural, but so intense. Especially certain peppers really build like crazy. So I really enjoy that for some crazy reason. But I would say Tink is probably on the bottom of the list, but I will definitely still do it. And it's fun, but it's not my go-to.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I can definitely see that. Tink is not necessarily the nicest thing on the gut at times. It's also one of the quickest ones that will show its head again if it's not settling with your stomach. As to where with
Yeah.
peppers and all that other stuff, it takes a little bit longer for it typically for it to digest or start to try to digest before you really start to see the upset nature to things. But yeah, okay, okay. Is there a pepper that you love more than another?
Honestly, I've tried a lot of peppers in my practice, and I really like the RB003s because they are not super floral, but they are powerful. I mean, they just sometimes I eat a pepper, I'm like, okay, it's not that bad, but then it's like, bam, it's just it really hits, and
Yep.
it almost just takes your breath away. You know, it's almost like, oh man, I gotta sit back for a minute and breathe. Um, I enjoy that, so that's one of my favorites. I don't know that I have a singular favorite, but I love the RB003s.
Okay, okay. Fair enough. I definitely like them. I think they have a good heat, a good flavor profile. Um, they're very unique in that sense, but I was expecting them to be hot, like at least from the hype and everything that I heard and all that stuff. By the time I got to try one, I was actually kind of shocked that it wasn't hotter than it was, which was okay for me because I had I think two others to eat that same day. So it was like, well, at least this
Well,
isn't
I'm
be too much.
I've got a theory that they might not all be the same. So I'm actually growing right now RB003s from two different people. So I just want to do a comparison to see because I had a similar experience one time where one didn't seem as hot, but then I had one that really blew me out the water. So I'm not sure if it's a difference in the pepper themselves or something else there, but um, yeah, I'm gonna do a little science experiment this summer and see.
Nice. Yeah, and that's I mean that's completely possible too. I mean, easily things happen just from growing. Something could have, it could have been from a less strong genetic line. We'll just put it that way, right? Like something could have easily got crossed into it by the time I had it, et cetera. Because the RB003 had been out at least for a few years before because I just recently tried it. I think this last season. So that was my first time trying that, and yeah, it was pretty blown away by the flavor. Thought it was pretty good, but yeah.
Yeah,
So you said you're growing. Obviously, we've seen some of your videos. If y'all are watching and listening and seeing some of the recent grow updates, is growing something that you had done before, or is this your first year growing together?
this is my first serious year. I've grown one other time. It's been like 5 or 6 years ago, and it was not anywhere near this serious. I didn't grow from seeds. I basically bought plants from Lowe's or something. They were small Reaper and Ghost, and maybe something else. But yeah, I went for the hottest pet plants at the Lowe's, Home Depot or Home Store, and then basically grew in 5 gallon buckets. I did that because I have dogs that would tear it up if it was in the yard. So I put it in the bucket, put it on a table outside where the dogs won't get it. And it turned out really good when I did that. I had a good harvest, so I was happy with it, but nowhere near what I've seen some of these people online that have like these things look like trees. They're just humongous, and it's like wow. So I'm not sure that I'll get that this year, but I certainly have the volume. I've got more like over 200 plants I'm going for this year, and I have a huge variety, over 30 or 40 different species of Superhots. So I'm really excited. My goal is to not have to spend hundreds of dollars on training like I've been doing. And then also to create some fiery red hot sauce and maybe dabble that in the local market and see if it is something of interest that maybe could get a little bit more serious on the side. Um, I have a full time job and career, but I enjoy this, and I would like to make a little money with the hobby if I could via my own hot sauce.
Nice. Yeah, yeah. I was just about to say I know that you have a full-time job, you have all the pepper training, everything goes on. Obviously, you have family time lined up. And then, I'll see posts as well where you have different snakes. Now, how did that whole thing get involved? And how many snakes do you have?
So honestly, that would have been a totally different answer before I moved. But because of Arkansas laws, I had to get rid of a lot of the pythons and larger constrictor species. And then just with selling the house, I was struggling to sell my house, and I was like, you know what? I don't think having a garage full of reptiles would be too enticing either, especially a lot of venomous stuff. People probably wouldn't know. I doubt they're going to go in there and identify them, but even still, I kind of took one for the team and almost abandoned that hobby almost completely. So I'm down to two snakes right now. But I had at one point over 20 or 30. And yeah, that was a hobby I've had for pretty big hobby I was into before I got really into the hot sauce and the spicy scene was breeding reptiles, breeding snakes, and selling snakes. Kurgan's constrictors was kind of a little side business. Again, it's just something I enjoy for fun. I like reptiles. I like all animals, and it's really cool to raise a snake from a baby into this monster python. That's like, wow! I remember when it was under a foot long, and now it's over 15 feet and like 100 pounds. Like, it's pretty cool to me. um,
Yeah.
but yeah, and then breeding them and just having eggs and hatching and just the whole process is really cool. There's a science to it. You get into the genetics of crossing different morphs the same way people cross peppers, right, to try to create a new pepper. People do the same thing in the snake scene where they try to develop new morphs that they think are going to be valuable. And it's just really a different community. And I really enjoy that.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. Now, do you prefer the venomous or non-venomous? Is there a preference there?
I like them both. My favorite snake I've ever had was my king cobra. It was just the epitome of snake keeping to me to raise a Malaysian king cobra from a baby who, as a young snake, naturally and rightfully so, he was small and defensive because in the wild, smaller snakes are more prone to getting killed or eaten. So he didn't trust me at first. He was fully intact with his venom glands, like he was venomous and deadly. And so it was really cool working with him to the point where developed basically I would call it a relationship where he understood I'm not a threat, and it's a two-way street. I have to gain his trust, but I got to be able to trust him if I want to interact. And if you get really into the reptile scene, a lot of people don't encourage that. You don't want to get bit and end up in the hospital, and then all it does is promote legislation to like ban some of these animals that we're really into. So you got to be really careful there, but I would argue the king cobra is the smartest snake in the world. And if you're going to bond with any venomous snake, the one to do it with is a king cobra captive bred. And I don't know, that's just my favorite. But prior to getting into that, I mean, Burmese pythons are like the big puppy dogs of snakes. They're just huge, but very docile and easygoing. I've currently got some eastern indigos. They're really awesome snakes, a threatened species, almost endangered, and so they're kind of more exotic and more rare, but they're beautiful. They're also very intelligent. Honestly, I like a lot of snakes.
Okay, okay. The only cobra I would be around like that would have to be one that's parked in the garage and it turns on with a key. The
Yeah.
others, I'm the probably the world's worst when it comes to snakes. Every snake I see, I'm thinking like, oh, this is a bad snake for me. I don't need to be around this. And so like immediately I'm like, how do I get this thing off my property and how like keep it away from the kids and all the stuff. Now I
Yeah.
do know that
That's
there's
most
good
people.
garden snakes, etc., but it's always like I don't know enough about them to really identify it that quick, and so I'm just like remove myself and my family from the snake until I can figure out what's going on. So
Yeah.
now there's some of those that are like the garden snakes, and I just leave them and they do their thing. So
Yeah, I would say that's the majority of people. A lot of people have the only good snake is a dead snake mentality, which kills me. And so part of what I do isn't just like breeding to make money, but a lot of it's to spread awareness and understanding and help people appreciate snakes. And I think they're misunderstood animals that actually are very valuable to our ecosystem. They do play a vital role, and snakes are good. I could start on a
Yeah.
rant on here and explain how, but I won't get into that.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, I definitely can see where it's heavily beneficial. I mean, even from just the very minor thing compared to everything else, but like being able to control the rodent population in certain areas is huge. And that's just one small thing, but ultimately, as someone that has bred, handled, and interacted with all kinds of venomous snakes, have you ever been bit by a venomous snake, first of all? And if so, oh, okay, well then never mind. I was gonna say, is it
No,
worse than the pain of some of the most excruciating burns?
it would be, and it could be deadly, and you could if you don't die, you could lose fingers, limbs. So it could put you in a serious state. I know somebody that's been in a coma for over a week. Luckily, he survived. But yeah, very
Wow.
careful with those. It is no joke. I have a protocol. My wife understands. Hey, if I'm with this snake that's a venomous snake, I've got him out. If I come in the room and I can't speak because my body's starting to shut down and my throat is unable to communicate. Here's what you do. Here's who you call. Here's where you take me. Here's what you tell them. There is a very serious protocol in place. I don't have any venomous snakes right now, so I don't have to worry about that right now. But
Yeah.
no, nothing to play with. You got to be very serious, and only professionals should do it. Most people should never own a venomous snake, and those that own them usually do not interact. You got to be very careful. So,
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. That makes sense. And I think, as you were stating as well, the majority of folks probably are not going to be the ones that are out there doing that. So as long as everyone is being smart, being aware of their surroundings out in nature, and watching where you step, it should be relatively okay. So, okay, okay.
yeah,
Well, I also wanted to touch on something that I know you're also very passionate about, the music scene. You also go to a lot of these, different events, different festivals in OSC. Like you'll do your morning cook, and you're covering, with different hot sauce, etc. Uh, have do you, now when you go to these events, do you go with typically like a group, or are there other groups that are by watching you make your breakfast? Obviously, they're getting doused with the hot sauce, flames, if you will. Uh, has anyone ever dabbled in asking you for some hot sauce?
like at a concert.
Yeah, and regretted it more or
Um,
less.
yeah, so at like a music festival, I think it's kind of what you're pointing at, where we camp out and stuff. Yeah, so I'll openly tell people like, hey, you're welcome to try it. It is hot. It's not like anything you've ever had before. I remember the last time I offered some last summer. We were at Welcome to Rockville. Awesome festival, by the way. But I was cooking some eggs in the morning, before we go to rock out, and had some Reaper squeezins that I was, jousting my eggs in. And so I was letting them know, hey, you like hot sauce, you can try this out. And they were pretty blown away. It's a hot one, right?
Yeah,
It's not your average sauce. I didn't give them a ton, just enough to get a little taste of what it's like. But yeah, I'll let them try it, but
yeah.
I'll let them know what they're getting into. I don't surprise them.
Yeah, it's that one in particular. It's a bit more thick, and it has a nice hold, kind of like a ketchup, like a good quality ketchup, if you will, from the hold standpoint. So yeah, if you get too aggressive with that, you might think you're okay, but that bite will awaken you if you're not ready for it. So
Yeah, yeah,
okay, okay. The I- you know it seemed that had to yeah, having all these different music festivals and being out there camping like that and watching some of those reels that you were posting and photos you were sharing with that hot sauce just doused on eggs. I was like, somebody out there was probably a little bit courageous, if you will, and
Oh
jumped
yeah,
in on that. And immediately, all I'm thinking is how funny either the reaction was or wasn't. So yeah,
yeah.
you
I get a
know,
kick out of it. They
there's
probably don't.
yeah. I mean, there's so many people that they go, oh yeah, I like, oh yeah, I like spicy food. Yeah, okay, I'll try this, and then you doesn't matter how many times you warn them, they're like, no, I can do this, and then they get humbled pretty quick. So
Oh yeah, yep.
it
That's how it goes.
it's always fun to see and shocking to get around as well. Okay, so as far as your world champ now, what does the future look like? Where are you looking? Where are you setting your eyes and goals towards for the remainder of the year and kind of just as you continue on?
Yeah, so I've been focusing more on pepper competitions this year, less on League of Fire challenges, which is what I started with, and I really do enjoy those. I still have some. I have a lot of them actually. I was going to do like a big push at the end of the year and bump myself back up, but I just didn't do it. I was focused on the Mike Jack competition, and I'll preface that with saying I've only ever done three competitions. I did the first one in Denver that I won. I did the one against Mike, which was my second ever within 6 months of joining League of Fire, doing a world title match against, arguably one of the biggest. And that was a learning process for me. Like, I learned where I screwed up there and what I need to do differently. And so, like you mentioned, I trained a little different. I learned where I need to focus, and I think that paid off recently. In my third match ever, where I actually now am world title holder, which is amazing. Um, but I think that a lot of people in the community still have some doubts about me. Like, I feel like I was in the right place at the right time in certain situations, right? Like, hey, no other champion was able to travel to London against Mike. So League of Fire goes to the leaderboard like they always do. They followed their protocol. And at the time I was number one, they reached out to me and they're like, hey, Steven, would you like to do this? And my initial reaction was, I think you should think about this. I don't feel worthy. Like, I don't deserve this, right? I don't deserve this opportunity. But they were like, no, you're number one. You've done some incredible things, and we want to give you the opportunity if you want to do it. And I was like, you know what? If I lose, I don't care. Just to be able to say I'm on stage and doing this quickly, like that's a win in my book. So I went for it. But then I realized, hey, I am capable and I can do this. So I started taking it a little bit more seriously after that loss. And yeah, that's my goal, is to kind of let people know, like, this isn't a fad. Like, I enjoy this for some sick masochistic reason. I really enjoy this, and I'm not going anywhere. So you can hate or be envious or whatever. That's really not my problem, because I enjoy this community. I focus on the good people in here, and the rest of that's really just not worth my attention. So, no, it's so many good people. I just love connecting with the good community, and I'm interested to keep pushing myself like I've been doing all along. That's what it's been about from day one, is pushing myself. I know I'm a human being, and I know I'm not the greatest thing on earth, and no human is. Like, I don't care who's the greatest, they can lose. So I want to prove that. I want to take down some of the. I think I need a Mike Jack rematch at some point, and I think it might have a different outcome. I don't know. Now, I'm not saying I'm better than him. I'm just saying I want to push myself, and there's no limits what the future has.
Absolutely. And to that point, you don't know what you don't know until you get into the ring and you're there duking it out on the stage. Mike Jack was on the show. I think it was 3 days before y'all's event over in London, and It was interesting to hear kind of the preparatory outlook that he's kind of gone into it with, and so knowing that you had jumped in, you were so eager, you were just burning through all these challenges, building up a name for yourself, and then to see you there, it was very cool to see and to watch that go down, and you just to exactly what you were saying as well, the knowledge gained just from that one event alone had to be absolutely astronomical. And so, as an early on nudge, that was like the biggest learning curve advantage that you could have possibly had just naturally happen. So that was a very cool thing to see. And I definitely think that rematch, when that happens, I'm not going to say if, that is a win. That happens, that would be a very glorious battle to watch. But at the
Yeah.
same time, both of y'all have that same positive outlook. You're not there to just absolutely hate and trash talk and all that other stuff that it's on the outskirts of things, right, within the community, and that's going to be everywhere in life. That's just the way life is.
Yeah. There's
But
people.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, but as long as it's like y'all are on there, the outcome is going to be the outcome, and at the end of the day, y'all are going to still be like absolutely thrilled to have a competitor of that caliber sitting across the table or next to you on the table. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I hope it does happen one day. I'm sure it might. I'm sure it will. Obviously, first things first. Chris Bergali, America's champion. Me and him going head to head in October at Gettysburg. Recently announced. Um, Basically 1 week after I had the belt. We've already got another match scheduled. It's a little ways out, which is fine with me. Gives my peppers time to grow and produce, so I can kind of get high on my own supply, so to speak. There, but yeah, looking forward to that match. Again, looking forward to pushing myself, and if Chris wants it, he's going to have to push pretty hard because I'm not handing it over.
I like it. I like it, and I'm looking forward to that one. On that positive note, let's do this. Let's go ahead and jump on over to the game.
All right.
All right, here we go. We have the Saucegauntlet. This is iteration number 13. And how this plays out, there are going to be some winners, or there's going to be one winner and a lot of losers. Just because something loses does not mean that you absolutely hate this product or you would never touch it ever again. Just simply someone's got to move forward. So, as you can see here, with it being the Spicy Gauntlet, we're not going to be talking peppers. We're not going to be talking sauce. We're going to be talking challenges. So here we go. Up first, we have, let me get some zoom in on this as well while we're here. We have Pastor Burns' Angry Bears versus the Killer Queen Chug. Who do you have moving forward?
So, is this most enjoyable or most painful here?
However you want to weigh this out, this is all up to you.
I'll, I'll I'll give it to the Killer Queen because that is brutal. Now that being said, Angry Bears are no joke either. Um, but I've done a Killer Queen and tried to get it out, and it still cramped me like there was no tomorrow. So
I am so glad that is a very scarce item, and I did not have to experience that firsthand because I've heard nothing but similar stories. All right.
I've got plenty of them if you want one.
Oh man, I don't know. Well, we have one here that started the very first video I'd seen of you, but we have a duke out of the Tubatera version 1 and Tubatera version 2. So which one would you like to move forward?
That's tough. For a while, I had the record for, I think, the 2.0, which is the corn.
Hmm.
The peanuts are actually really good too. Like honestly, I love both of those. It's hard to say for me which one's actually hotter. They're both really hot. I'm gonna go with this is really tough. I like them both a lot. The peanuts are really tasty. I'm gonna go with 2.0 just because that was one of my first big records, and I was proud of that. And it is solid. And I will say, with that record I set, I digested all of it. And everybody always asks the question about something coming out burning twice as hard. When you break a record of those 2.0 corn nuggets or whatever they are, that is the one that really got me. I mean, it was probably worse coming out. It was crazy. But not to be too explicit here, but that one's intense.
Yeah, nope, I can't even imagine. I know the corn nuggets themselves causing the drying effect to the mouth is its own challenge within the challenge. So I don't even understand how you got down that many. But up next we have the Toa Satan versus the Little Nitro. So this is a shout out
Um,
for all of those that are only familiar with the more novelty side of things, if you will.
yeah, and this is how I started definitely with stuff like this. But hands down, Toe of Satan, that will make me cry. At least it did last time I did it. I mean, just tears. The little nitro is not too bad. It can be a gut bomb, especially if you don't prep because you don't know what you're doing because it's just a novelty thing and you're not that serious with it. But the toe of Satan, you got to work for that. You know, keeping that in your mouth for 10 minutes, it's pretty intense.
Yep, absolutely. Let's get this one out of here. Boom. We have a Wonka head off here. We have the Fun Dip version 2.0 versus Pizza Extreme.
Oh, man. I just did the Fun Dip recently, um, which is a very unique and very creative challenge. Um, but I'm going to go with the one I enjoy more, which is the Pizza Extreme. I just love that one. I honestly love it. Uh, the Fun Dip was good. I mean, you get the PAL mixed with the Warhead Sour, but the Tink flavor just kind of throws it off from being like too enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's a nice mouth burn, but that Pizza Extreme, I just love that one.
Yep, absolutely. I enjoyed it as well. Ended up utilizing that one during lunch. Actually, started my lunch with that challenge and felt it many hours later. Um, here's
Oh,
up next. We have the Pure Insanity Skulls. This could represent any level of them versus the Moab bar.
I'll be honest, I haven't tried either one. I've looked into it and I just didn't get them. I had them in the cart at one point and I didn't buy them. I'm gonna go with the pure insanity just because I've seen some stuff that looks pretty intimidating there. I want to try them both. I just honestly haven't.
No, fair enough. The Moab is a bit much if you're not a chocolate loving person. That half pound really just creeps up on you.
Oh, I bet. I love chocolate.
We have the Rung of Fire, and then we have the Holy Cowlick.
Now, what is the Rung of Fire? I'm not familiar with that one.
That was one that the most recent one was put on by Feeney, and that was the Robbie stack off within Cap Crew.
Oh, gotcha. I'm gonna go with the Cowlick because I enjoy it more. I know I'm kind of mixing my reasoning here.
No,
I
you're
enjoy
good.
it more. I think the Rung of Fire is definitely hardcore, but you stack those lollipops and it gets pretty intense. It's arguably just as much or more mouth heat when you're keeping that in your mouth. I had the record for that one for a little while, and I honestly thought that record was safe, and then people just started beating it and beating it and beating it, and wow, it's amazing. I love it.
Once you open those floodgates, it seems like everyone shows up and wants to crush it as well because they see that it can be done. That you
Yeah,
cleared the mental hurdle for some folks, probably.
maybe, but they've really went over the top.
Yep. Well, next up we have this top one here is representative of Pastor Burns. This could be any of his ramen delights. And then down below it we have The Cully's ramen noodles, and I will keep my comments to myself.
I've got to go with Pastor Burns Ramen Delight. It's amazing. It's hot. It tastes good. I mean, one of my favorite challenges. I mean, it's just really enjoyable and solid burn. I like the extra large X there.
Oh man, I have a love-hate relationship with that
Yeah.
Cully's. Yeah, okay, all right, very reasonable, very understandable. So up next we have no anesthesia versus the C3.
What is the C3?
That's those. So it's the freeze dried. I was about to blink on the name. Freeze dried Skittles covered in pepper powder.
Ooh, man. Now, I've had some from Linda's Fiery Treats. It's not the C3, but those Reaper Skittles. Man, this is tough because I love that no anesthesia too.
Something.
Sorry, Jaws. I gotta go with the Reaper Skittles here.
All right.
Now I've never had the C3, but I'm imagining it's like the Reaper Skittles from Linda's.
Yeah, very similar in both flavor and heat. Those are, I think the C3 are technically hotter. I haven't had them in close enough proximity from time frame wise to clearly recall, but yeah, I remember they're roughly about the same. So yeah, a handful of those
Yeah,
from Linda, and it's definitely gonna punch you in the gut.
yeah, it's really tasty snack, and it really gives you some mouth heat. So I just love that. Like I can just grab some and get a nice burn, and it's like eating crazy hot candy, which is you know two good things in once.
Yep, absolutely. Well, now we are down to the final eight. We have the Killer Queen versus the Tube of Terror 2.0. We have the Toa Satan versus Pizza Extreme. The Pure Insanity Skulls versus the Holy Cow Lick. And then we have Ramen Delight versus C3. So up first, Killer Queen versus Tube of Terror 2.0.
I'm gonna take this in the direction of the one I prefer, which is not gonna be the Killer Queen. The 2.0 is actually enjoyable, especially if you just did a single tube. I would argue. If you do a bunch of them, it's going to be crazy intense. Now, one of them is intense, but
Mm-hmm.
um, I do enjoy them, so I'm gonna go with that.
All right. Easy enough. So we have the Toe of Satan versus Pizza Extreme.
Ooh, this is very different.
Just to give you an idea, this will be battling up against the Tuba Terror 2.0.
I don't know. I got two different thought process here. Um,
Do you want to jump to the other side? Leave that one for a second?
yeah, let's do that.
All right. Then we will look over here at the Holy Cowlick versus the Pure Insanity Skulls.
I'm gonna go with the Holy Cowlick strictly because I haven't tried Pure Insanity, so I can't give an honest feedback there.
I like it. Makes sense. Ramen Delight versus C3.
See, this is hard. I love the Ramen Delight. I love those Reaper Skittles. Um,
Once again,
let's
this is a
go.
battle in Holy Cowlick.
Yeah, let's go. I'll mix it up instead of going sweet on sweet. We'll do Ramen Delight. Ramen's one of my favorite meals, and a really hot ramen. I mean, it's just amazing.
Absolutely. I can definitely get behind that. So we have the Toe of Satan versus Pizza Extreme.
I will just go with Pizza Extreme because so is Satan. I've already got the Holy Calic, which is very similar, but Pizza Extreme is also very enjoyable for me. I love like the really hot pizza, um, but it is a lot of powder.
Oh yeah. That's one that I think as a powder by itself to use as, leisure, if you will, instead of like the challenge. That would be something I would gravitate to use pretty often. But
Oh yeah,
All right. Well,
I'm
now
gonna
we're
be
down
a
to the final
second.
four. Tuba Terror
Yeah.
2.0, Pizza Extreme, Holy Cow Lick versus Ramen Delight. What do we have moving forward to the final round?
Let's see, I don't know what I'm doing here. This is tough. So I'm gonna go with the Tube 2.0 because it's a more enjoyable snack burn, if that makes sense. Like the Pizza Extreme's solid heat. It definitely cakes up on the gums. Um, but I would say the 2.0 is also a very solid heat. Um, it's hard and it's a different issue of getting it down, but I'm gonna go with that one.
Okay. All right. And then Holy Cow Lick versus Ramen Delight.
The Calyx probably harder from the standpoint of having to endure it for 10 minutes in your mouth. Um, but I got to go with the ramen. I just love it. And it is really hot. I mean, it's no joke. It's challenge level soup for sure.
Absolutely. Like it. And we are down to the final two. We have here the Tuba Terror versus Ramen Delight.
So I'm just going to go with what I love. And I love that ramen delight. I mean, it tastes good. It's got the heat. It's amazing. And if I had a supply of that in the cabinet, I would not be upset.
There we go. Tube of Terror 2.0 has been sidelined, and Ramen Delight takes it home. I like it. I can definitely get behind this board. I like the overall breakdown and thought process that went into this. It seemed to be a struggle about the time it hit that final four, and I definitely see why you chose what you chose. So kudos there. What did you think of the overall game?
That was not easy. Like it was good. It was just like it made me think like, oh man, there I love all these challenges. So it's really hard to kind of pick a favorite, so to speak. But no, it was really good.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
that it does kind of invoke pitting the children against each other and having to pick the favorite.
Yeah.
But ultimately, that's why I preface at the very beginning, it doesn't mean that you hate those others. It's just simply someone had to win. But
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
okay.
I mean, you
Okay.
can't go wrong with the ramen though. I mean, that's a solid choice.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I actually have a nice bag of the version 3, I think is what that one I have. I have a version 2 and version 3 that are still I'm utilizing on rotation. Not just for
Oh,
ramen,
nice.
also for pizza and for sandwiches. So
Oh, nice.
if you haven't tried it in those two areas, that's a ticket right there. Um,
That's awesome.
all right. So, we've already talked on the overall. I think we've kind of touched on the nugget of knowledge here earlier, talking about the mental struggle and really overcoming that. That was going to be kind of how I was going to gear that. So we'll just leave that to the side unless you have something that you really wanted to let everyone know from a nugget of knowledge standpoint.
Um, I would say really just be yourself. If you want to push yourself hard, push yourself hard. If you don't, then don't. There's no expectation, right? Like you don't have to earn your way into the community. People are awesome. There's people at all different tolerance levels. So just be yourself. People will appreciate you for who you are. If you're not the strongest pepper eater or the biggest at doing multiples, like that's cool. But if you want to be, that's cool too. Like you can literally do it. I think I'm living proof of that. You can create your own destiny in this hobby and make a quote unquote career out of it, perhaps. But yeah, I mean, just have fun. Really, have fun. And if you're not having fun, then you're not doing it right.
Absolutely. Very well said. Okay. Well, you were put on the hot seat, so now is your chance to put someone else on the hot seat. So, who would you like to nominate to be a guest on the show?
So I had something in mind. And I've kind of gone back and forth. So my question is, could I nominate two?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
All right. So just got back from South Africa and had an amazing time. I would like to nominate Gary Kankar. He was my opponent. Gary is solid. He's strong. He went all the way to the speed round. We ate a lot of peppers, and he he was right there. I mean, it was no. I didn't know when I went into that competition who was going to win. I had no idea how he was going to do, and he kept me on my toes until the very end there. So, with that being said, Gary's also a great guy, very personable, friendly, and warm, welcoming. So I just appreciate Gary. So I'd like to nominate him. Then I'd also love to nominate Royce McCain. Royce won the Africa's belt. So congrats, Royce. And Royce is also a phenomenal person. Has been very friendly, you know, chatting even prior to Africa, and really wanted to send me something when I got there. They sent me not just pods, but sauce and some challenge chips they make there, and which is, by the way, insane. Like, you got to be careful with those challenge chips. They are so coated. I was like, oh man, this is really intense. But no, I really appreciate both of those guys. Two awesome chili heads, and I'd love to have them on the show if they're interested.
All right. Royce, Gary, I'll be reaching out to find a time that works best for y'all's schedule to have you come on, and look forward to lining that up. Thank you so much, Stephen, for coming on. How can everyone keep up with you, and is there anything that they should know and come to expect whenever they're following you on social media?
Yeah, so I've got Instagram. I think it's Stephen Curgan is the name there. Pretty straightforward. Or I've got Kurgan's World on YouTube, or Stephen Fiery Red Kurgan. You can find Steve, just Facebook Stephen Kurgan. You'll find me. I've got TikTok as well. Um, so yeah, feel free to like, subscribe, join my channels and my stuff. I try to have fun. I try to keep it fun. That's the whole point of this, is to have a good time and to burn. And I'm random. Like, I'm into a lot of different hobbies. I was into paragliding and paramotor flying. Like, I'm into the snakes, really into the chili scene. But I plan to just keep having fun, whether it's going to be with the gardening and growing some awesome stuff, or some challenges, or maybe another silly cooking episode. That was pretty fun. I don't know what's next, but I want to have fun, and I definitely welcome others to join me.
All right. Well, Stephen, thank you so much for coming on. It was an absolute pleasure. Still so much more we could dive into. We only got to scratch the surface, so love to have you come back on.
Yeah, definitely. Anytime. I appreciate you having me. Enjoyed the conversation here.
Stephen, thank you so much for coming on. If you want to keep up with Stephen Kurgan, Fiery Red, I'll have the direct links down below how you can keep up with him. And watch as he continues to set the community on fire with these challenges, with these competitions, and everything that he has going on. As well as, if you enjoyed the products that were covered here on Hot or Not Tonight, I'll have the direct links down below, as well as a main link to the website so you can check out the full lineup. And want to remind y'all all, new episodes drop every Tuesday and Thursday night. And continue to share this out with other like-minded chili heads or individuals that are just curious about the world of hot. I also want to give a shout out to our sponsors, podvision.io. If you are looking to grow your brand, start your brand, you've hit a bump in the road, you're trying to figure things out, I highly recommend checking out podvision.io, as well as another channel sponsor, webdx.one. If you have an online website, maybe it's out of date, maybe you had somebody, but you've since lost contact with them, it's not a great representation of you and your business and how amazing you are, highly recommend checking out to webdx.one for all those needs. I'm Brandon Swear, and from everything from the world of hot, this has been The Swear Word.